Welcome back to another vlog. My name is Henry Singleton. Obviously I haven't done a vlog for a while now, so I send out apologies to my millions of subscribers out there. The main reason, to be honest, being that things with Ipswich Town haven't been great, and I kind of think that I probably bore myself and bore anyone watching if I just constantly moan on about all the negative things which are going on at Ipswich Town at the moment. I think probably, if I'm being honest, I should have taken the opportunity when we had those two good away wins against Preston and Sheffield Wednesday to do a video then. I didn't. So what I'm going to try and do today, certainly at the beginning of this video, is get some positives in before I get onto the more negative stuff. Because it's Friday, the sun is shining, and I feel like I need, for my soul, to get some positives in. So here we go. A lot of this kind of centres around international football and players at Ipswich. So I was really pleased to see Bartosz Białkowski get called up to the Poland squad for the friendlies which are coming up. I think the first one's actually tonight, and then maybe a couple more next week. Obviously he's got some fairly stiff competition. Lucas Fabianski, I think he'll actually probably be the backup second choice keeper, but then you've got Wojciech Szczesny, who I'm guessing will take the number 1 shirt. Obviously he plays fairly regularly for Juventus, and I think he'll take over from Gigi Buffon once he retires at the end of the season. So yeah, it's not the easiest of squads to get into, and it would just be great to see him playing at the World Cup in Russia in the summer. So well done to him. Obviously likewise Jonas Knudsen, who's been called up to the Denmark squad. Not sure about the plethora of left-back talent in Denmark, but I don't think Jonas has been particularly outstanding this season. But there we are. Obviously, good for him that he's been called up as well. And I think if either of them are in the final squad for the World Cup in the summer, they'll be the first Ipswich player since Tommy Smith to play in the World Cup when he played for New Zealand in South Africa in the 2010 World Cup. So yeah, it'd be good kind of little side interest, wouldn't it, from watching England, and good to keep an eye on those Ipswich players. Also well done to, I feel like I'm a teacher reading out achievements in assembly, but well done to Flynn Downs. He obviously has been called up to the under-19 squad. They had a convincing win the other day, I think, against Hungary. 4-1 they won, and I think they've got a couple more friendlies coming up next week. Bit of a shame for Luton fans. Obviously they're still playing their league matches, so he can't feature for them. And I'm just really impressed by Flynn Downs whenever I see him play. And actually, being the sad bloke that I am, when Ipswich's game the other day was postponed due to the weather against Hull, I had to get my football fix, so I travelled over to Cambridge United to watch them play against Luton Town. And obviously Flynn Downs was playing in the centre of their midfield, and yeah, just really think he's one for the future. He just keeps it for such a young guy. I think what I'm impressed by most is how calm he is on the ball. He keeps it nice and simple, but he's very kind of, calm and collected and kind of mature above his years. And I think definitely we'll be looking to get him in the Ipswich first team next year. So there we go. There's some international news. Oh, and also Michael Crowe. He's been called up to the Wales squad for the first time. So well done to him. Obviously, slightly strange one from Ipswich fans' point of view. We've never really seen him play at all, and I don't think Mick really particularly fancies him. Obviously, he's a young guy, and I'm not sure if it's a case of Ryan Giggs seeing something in him, or whether there's only about 3 goalkeepers in Wales. But anyway, good for him, and hopefully he manages to get a chance as well. So there's the international news. Obviously, really pleased this week to see Andre Dizelle back on the training pitch at Playford Road. I don't think he's getting involved particularly with any kind of footballing stuff, but he's doing his runs and all that kind of thing, and so pleasing to see him getting towards recovery. Obviously, I think apparently he's going to be all ready to go for pre-season in the summer. And it was just so gutting, was it, when he got injured. I think probably more than any of the injuries we've had this season, I think that one was probably near the top of the list. He started off that first game of the season so well. He was just gliding past players, and he looked like a real player. And hopefully he can get back to being that. I'm sure he can. So lots of, well, I say lots, some positives that I've managed to get in there. So I'm glad about that. Right, we do now though need to get on to kind of on the pitch stuff, which means this video is probably going to take a slightly more negative turn, but there we are, that's how things are. So we'll go back a few weeks, and obviously, as I said at the beginning of this video, those two really impressive away wins at Preston where we won 1-0, and I think Mustafa Carriol looked really good from what I saw, and then we beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-1. Both those sides are fairly decent. Preston are kind of knocking on the playoff door quite seriously, and Sheffield Wednesday, whilst they've massively underperformed this season, they've still got a very good, strong kind of squad, and they've spent a lot of money. So yeah, really good results. And in the second of those games against Sheffield Wednesday, it was also really good to see Martin Waghorn back on the score sheet. I don't think he'd scored in his previous kind of 15 or 16 games before he got those two goals at Hillsborough, the second of which was a superb free kick. So yeah, good to see him back on the score sheet. I don't know if anyone, by the way, saw the You Know the Drill that he did, the Soccer AM feature where they had to do kind of set of drills and finishing skills. Martin Waghorn was unbelievable on that. Anyway, so as I say, that kind of gave you a little bit of hope. And it's always, as they say with football fans, the hope that kills you. I mean, I wasn't necessarily thinking we were going to get bang in the playoffs, but there's always a team that makes a late run, as I think we're seeing Millwall doing at the moment. So you kind of thought, I don't know, maybe. So we played Sheffield United on a Saturday and we drew 0-0. That was pretty uninspiring, turgid affair. Both sides kind of cancelled each other out. But I suppose, really, if you're looking at it in the cold light today, not the worst point in the world. Sheffield United are doing well this season and they're also looking to get into the playoffs. But we went into the kind of the one where we had to win against Hull City, which was the one that was previously postponed, and that was to be played on the Tuesday after the Sheffield United game. And you thought, right, if we've got any chance at all, we've got to win this one against lowly Hull City. And we got thumped 3-0, which kind of put pay to any playoff talk. Mick McCarthy came out with a baffling team. I think he made about 5 or 6 changes. I mean, fair enough, make a couple of changes to freshen things up when you've got a few games in a short space of time, but to make that many was never going to work. The team looked completely muddled. Out went Connolly and Waghorn. In came, I think, Hyam and Nydam and Gleeson, all playing in that midfield, which is pretty grim, isn't it? Those three together. Gleeson, I think, has looked really bad recent weeks. Hyam had a poor one in that one. And Tristan Nydam, you know, he's a young guy, and supposedly Ipswich fans, according to Mick McCarthy, were giving him lots of abuse in that game, which obviously I've got a season ticket in the North Stand. I didn't think that was the case at all. I think it's a case of Mick blowing things out of proportion, as he has done a few times. Definitely don't think he was getting much abuse. I mean, maybe there was the odd groan when he gave the ball away, but I mean, that's kind of expected, isn't it? And yeah, pretty pathetic. We were 2-0 down at half time and then we went 3-0 down shortly after half time. In a game where we never really got started and we made Hull look like Brazil. Just talking about Mick McCarthy and some of his comments, I found his comments generally after that Hull City game completely bizarre. He said it that the atmosphere was a disgrace. I mean, what does he expect? What does he want everyone to just kind of stand there and clap and say well done? I mean, it was hardly a West Ham type protest of people running onto the pitch with corner flags, was it? There might have been the odd chant of Mick McCarthy, get out of our club, and Mick McCarthy, your football is shit, and all the kind of usual things that have been coming out in recent weeks. And yeah, it did get quite toxic, but to say that it was a disgrace is a bit strange. Fans pay their money and they're well within their rights to voice those opinions if they do that in the kind of in a way which is kind of expected. So yeah, a bit weird and kind of a bit self-righteous for him to come out and say those things. And I think he also said that, you know, how are the players supposed to play in this kind of atmosphere, and it's going to make it really difficult for them, which to me just kind of think it's a bit pathetic, isn't it? You know, they're not babies, they're elite level sports people. They should be able to play in kind of pressurised situations and play in atmospheres which particularly probably aren't the nicest, should be able to block all that out. So found it strange. And I think McCarthy only sort of drove a further wedge between us, the fans, and the players and the management staff by bringing all the players onto the pitch after the game in a huddle of defiance. I think where he basically said, right, fuck the fans, this is us against them now, and it's just a sad state at Portman Road at the moment, isn't it? So but there we are. So anyway, after the Hull City game, we then went on to the game against Bristol City, which was played last Saturday. By all accounts, fairly lacklustre game. I've been down to Bristol City to watch Ipswich the last few years, and we've got beat. I thought I'm not going this time. With the state of how things are at the moment, I'm pretty glad I didn't, because it seemed like a very boring game. I don't know who puts the edits together for the highlights of games, but they certainly, by the looks of things, did well to get anything for that one. And I think, as Mick McCarthy said a few times this season, it was a case of they blinked first. Doesn't really seem to be us blinking first much, does it? But there we are. So lost 1-0 to Hull City, to Bristol City. Obviously, they're a good side. And things kind of have gone from a little bit of positivity and trying those 2 away wins to back where we were and mid-table, and things are looking like pretty grim. We just want the season to end now, don't we? I think we haven't scored a goal in our last 3 games. We haven't scored a goal at home, and I think in our last 5 or 6 games, which is an all-time club record. We've now, for the first time, and I think a long time this season, have lost more games than we've won. I think we've lost 16, won 15. And Norwich City are back level on points with us. So I think, that's all we've kind of got to play for now, isn't it? I think Mick, as I've said previous times, is kind of destined to leave in the summer. But his comments recently, again, are just kind of bewildering. He said recently, I know it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but he said, he might just stay on to annoy all the fans, and it's kind of comments like that I think as fans we're just all bored of now. It's not funny, it's just like, shut up, mate. And that's the way things are at the moment. Basically, we want Marcus Evans, don't we, to come out and tell us what the situation is now. Is Mick McCarthy going to be leaving? Is he going to be signing a new contract? I think if he's got any business sense at all, which obviously he has, he's got a big, successful business, he's going to see the bottom line and realise that attendances are going down and down. For instance, the Hull City game, I think we were told it was 13,000 or so that were there, but anyone there knows that it was much closer to 10,000. But so Marcus Evans has got to see that season ticket sales are going to be absolutely woeful if Mick McCarthy's in a job. And as I said in the previous video, all we want is Marcus Evans to come out and tell us what the plan is with Ipswich, what's the philosophy going forward. I don't think we asked for a great deal as Ipswich fans, but a bit of transparency from him and just something to get excited about and to feel proud of again. What I want when I go to Portman Road is the feeling of us all being in this together. I'm not expecting us to go up automatically. We haven't got the finances probably to do that. But let's have something to be proud of, with all of us pulling in the right direction and knowing what the blueprint is for this club. Because at the moment it's just completely muddled, and I think we're all just waiting for the season to end before we can go again next season. So there we are. Sorry that I've had to get into some negatives there, but as I said, managed to get into some positives at the beginning. Hopefully be back for another video soon, and thank you all for watching again. Please do like and subscribe on the channel, and I will see you soon.